Today we are traveling 4,238 miles from Jerusalem, Israel, to Sakon Nakhon, Thailand, northeastern Thailand, to meet Zevulan the Rice Farmer. How are you doing, Zevulun?
Baruch Hashem, how are you?
I'm amazed that there is a Jewish rice farmer living in Thailand, a full Jewish life. Tell me a little bit about your story. This is just inspirational.
Well, I didn't really move here to Thailand as a Jew. I kind of discovered my Yiddishkeit after I had already moved here and started farming. I was raised in a family that was secular. I hardly had a Jewish identity. But as I progressed and became a little bit older in life, I started to acquire all the things I thought I ever wanted. And yet I still felt some kind of a dissatisfaction. And I sought out, I thought, what am I, crazy? So I thought I might go talk to a rabbi, and I did. It happened to be Rabbi Cantor, and I was introduced to Judaism, and the Yiddishkeit that's deep in my soul was revealed to me, and hopefully to others as well.
I'm going to just show our viewers now, at this point, a 1-minute clip that describes your journey and shows a little bit about where you live and your job. Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy this video.
I got out of high school, I worked around, I did a stint as a, believe it or not, as a sheep herder. How Jewish is that? I was raised in Kansas. I retired from the Navy in 1999, and we moved here to Sakon Nakhon, Thailand. My name's Zevulun. I'm a rice farmer from Sakon Nakhon, Thailand. I was 51 years old, and I was wondering maybe I should talk to a rabbi. So I go to Bangkok, and I go to Soi 22, and I thought, is that a synagogue? Could that be a synagogue? Could there be a synagogue in there? No. And I'm about ready to give up. And I look down the road, and I see who I now know to be Rabbi Goldberg. He's got a fedora, he's got a beard, he's got sits and a coat, and this, and I'm like, this is Jewish. I thought, wow, this must be a very exciting community. Look, they're having some kind of a pageant. It's some kind of dress-up day from yesteryear, I'm trying to think of the Hebrew word. I mean, it was in the parsha last week. What is it? Ephratzah? Ufaratzta. That's just what comes to my mind, Ufaratzta.
And that is just sensational and inspirational. You must clearly love rice.
Well, in Thailand, the word for food is rice, just like the word for food in Hebrew is bread.
It would be great to meet Rabbi Cantor, who I know is the chief rabbi of Thailand. He runs the Jewish life in Thailand. So I'm going to invite Rabbi Cantor to come and join this conversation with us. Rabbi Cantor, Shalom Aleichem. Thank you for joining us. It's a real pleasure to meet you. Rabbi Cantor is effectively the chief rabbi of Thailand. And I must tell you, having spent my honeymoon in Thailand in 2011, my wife and I were so impressed with how much Jewish life there really is. We had these a la carte meals for every single night of our honeymoon, incredible kosher food, we had a minyan, we had a prayer service. People watching this video who are in Thailand, who perhaps are not so observant or connected, if they want to come and have a Jewish experience, I know they can come and spend Friday night dinner with you, midweek, they can have learning experiences, and you have Chabads all over the place. You've got one in Bangkok, Koh Samui, if I'm not mistaken, Phuket. Where else is there Chabad?
Chiang Mai, Koh Samui, Phuket, and we have a new branch in Pai, which is just getting up and running, and just nearby in Luang Prabang, Laos as well.
I remember when we were there, we went for Friday night dinner to Koh Samui to the Chabad. We thought we'd have a nice, intimate Friday night dinner. We walk into this room, we see 400 Israelis and Jews around us. How many Jewish people are there in Thailand?
There's the famous joke that they say the Thai person asks an Israeli, how many Israelis are there? And he says, oh, well, 6 million, 7. And they say, no, not in Thailand, in Israel. It's difficult to know how many Jews actually live here. say 1,000, you can say more. It's
Tell me in 60 seconds, what's it like to be a Jew living in Thailand?
feels comfortable. Feels comfortable because, thank God, people look at me and they don't know what I am. So rather than as I, growing up from, always being looked at and sometimes, unfortunately, not in such loving eyes, being here and not being understood, on the contrary, being welcomed and accepted is a good feeling.
So I understand there's no anti-Semitism or racism against Jews in any way in Thailand? Is that correct?
I don't think they know that we're Jewish, many of them.
Right. Let me ask you, Zevulun, what's a nice Jewish boy from Kansas City going all the way to the Far East to find their Jewish identity? What's that all about? Tell me about that.
Well, the path that Hashem gives us is baffling. I don't think we even understand our own paths, much less anyone else's. But I guess in some big picture way, it required me to get to a place where I was so foreign that I had to cry out for something that was familiar to me, even though I didn't know it. And so maybe that was maybe that's how Hashem brought me back to Yiddishkeit in some kind of crazy way. I don't know.
Can you tell me a little bit about what family you have and also what your day-to-day life is like in Thailand?
Yeah, my parents of blessed memory, they have deceased. My father was an only son. My mother lost her family in Europe in the 40s, and they were not observant at all. And I have a brother and one surviving sister, but they gave us, I'm the fourth of 4 kids, and we had no tradition. We never went to a Yom Kippur service. We never lit Hanukkah candles. We never had a Pesach Seder. I never had a bris until I was, in my 50s. And so I had no real identity as a Jew. And I was just out in the world, making a living, trying to get by, have a family, so on and so forth. And like I've said on more than one occasion, I started to find a degree of success by most measures in terms of economic security and even emotional security. My kids were growing up and, they were turning out okay, but yet there was something missing. And so it motivated me to go, maybe I should talk to a rabbi. So that's what I ended up doing. And thank God, Rabbi Cantor's here in Thailand. And I walked through the doors of the shul, and I felt like I was at home for the first time in my life. And it's been a life directionally changing, but I would say it's a course correction instead of a new course.
Wow. Now, are you married? Do you live by yourself?
I am married. It's not a halakhic married. I married a Thai woman 30 years ago, over 30 years ago. We have 3 children. My son went to the Bet Den, and so he's a ger, and he's been in yeshiva in Sfas, Israel for a couple of years, and then in New Jersey, and now he's living in Crown Heights, New York. So wow. I've got that connection, that generational connection with my son, and I have 2 daughters, and I have and my wife are Thais.
I can hear in the background. I can hear very clearly the birds tweeting. It sounds like it's a beautiful place where you live. Tell me a bit about your day-to-day life as a rice farmer and what it's like living in Thailand now.
Well, it's I am a rice farmer, and I do live. I say I live in Sakon Nakhon. Sakon Nakhon is a province. I don't live in the capital of the province of Sakon Nakhon is the city. I live about 80 kilometers to the northeast of the city of Sakon Nakhon. And in a town, in an ampur of Wananiwad, but I live about 15 kilometers from the town of Wananiwad in a village, but the village is a couple of kilometers down the road as well. I literally live on a farm.
You're the only Jew in the village?
Yeah. As far as I know, but you never know. There may be a concealed Jew crying to be released. But as far as I know, yes. And so, I get up in the morning like any other Jew and moidi ani and do some davening, but then I have chores, and depending on what time of the year it is, it determines what the workload is. I'm really busy twice a year, in the spring and in the fall, for the planting and the harvesting. And at those times, the daylight and the weather kind of dictates my behavior. But the rest of the time, I can kind of manage and plan. So my daily life, there's a crop in the field right now. And my daily life, since we've had this COVID-19, it's been a real blessing in some ways for some people, because I have a morning shir with Rabbi Cantor every morning at 8:45. So I get up and daven, and then I have a shir, and then I eat, and then I go out and do some work.
Tell me this, why are you not going back to a larger Jewish community, say in the United States or Israel? What makes you want to stay in Thailand?
Well, it's a good question. I'm not sure if I have an answer. It's kind of like default, but in some way I feel like, this is home, and this is where I find myself. This is where I found myself. And so I can't help but to believe in some mysterious way, maybe mystical, that, I'm here for a reason. And I would hate for my ego to get so involved in determining what's best for me, that I do something and lose the opportunity to satisfy the reason why I'm here. So something along those lines.
Let me ask you both a question. In terms of Thailand's culture and tradition, has that seeped its way at all into Jewish life, in terms of perhaps maybe the food that you eat or the traditions that you have?
I would say one of the interesting things of Thai culture, I realized that there's something called spontaneity that really is prevalent here in Thailand. Now, it's not good if you want to be, if you want to plan your life to a T, that's not Thailand. But if you want to come here and just go with the flow, then Thailand is the place where spontaneity is king. And I think that really that's why people like vacationing here. That's subconsciously why a lot of people like living here. And I think that must have seeped in to our communal life as well. I'm sure that the aspects of the colorfulness of life around here has contributed something to the way we serve Hashem here. And I think that has been attractive to some people as well, in terms of meeting up with their Jewish observance here, because it does have a little bit of the taste of here.
If I was to come to your Shabbos table, would I have Thai food or regular children and kegel?
No, we have usually the Thai noodle chicken soup. You're not going to get the regular lakshan. You're going to get the rice noodles and the Thai style. Nice. Interestingly enough, when people come, we have restaurants in each Chabad house, and we have a Thai kosher menu as well. You would think they're the most popular, but they're not. So people look through the menu and I'll have a schnitzel, chips, and salad with hummus. Okay, for that you came all the way from Israel to have the hummus and chips. You could have it there. But people look for familiarity. When they are out there in someplace different, it makes them feel good to find something familiar.
Interesting. Let me ask you, Zevulun, in a sentence, what does it mean to you to be a Jew?
What it means to be a Jew is to mean that you have a purpose and meaning in life.
Beautiful. Now, there are going to be a lot of Jews around the world watching this. Do you have a message to world Jews, to your brothers and sisters all over the globe?
Yes, I have a message. And what is that message? go to your shul, go to your rabbi, find out who you are so that you can be who God wants you to be, and then therefore you can find that purpose and meaning in your life.
This has been really fascinating. I wish you both ongoing success, and thank you very much for this opportunity.
All the best.